Thanks for staying with us. So it's still our Healthy Tuesday, and today's segment will be discussing insomnia. According to reports, about 10% of the world's population experience insomnia that qualifies as a medical condition. Joining us on the show now is a consultant family physician and lifestyle medicine physician, Dr. Ore Makinde. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. So sleep deprivation is something that many of us experience. We know people who don't get enough sleep, and we know the importance of sleep. But just that, because we're a religious country somewhat, many of us believe that, that's 12 midnight, that's when you wake up. That's where the demons are always flying. You must wake up. How can you just be sleeping like that? So 12 to 1, you are praying. Then again, very early in the morning, before you say anything hello to anybody, you have to wake up at 5 a.m. to pray. So really, most of us, I mean, we don't really get 8-hour sleep that is recommended, by doctors. So let us just start with insomnia. What is insomnia? And how do we reduce insomnia in our country right now?
All right, thank you very much. So insomnia is actually a very broad term, but it refers to a sleep disorder in which a person has difficulty initiating, maintaining, or consolidating sleep. Wow. Or just having a poor quality of sleep. And that is in the presence of adequate opportunity to sleep. So, you talked about sleep deprivation. So insomnia actually leads to sleep deprivation. And sleep deprivation can also, one way or the other, lead to insomnia. So insomnia is just a sleep disorder. Right. And there are several things that we do intentionally that lead to insomnia. And the major thing that we can do in order to reduce our risk of insomnia is to develop healthy sleep habits.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So I know people who started out their life sleeping, like they sleep really well. So they can doze off in the car, doze off anywhere they find themselves. But as they get older, probably with work, they realize that they now struggle to get the sleep. What do you think is responsible? Is it like insomnia building?
Yes, so there are several factors. I'm sure you realize that children require more sleep than adults. So the World Health Organization actually recommends an average of 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night for adults between the ages of 18 and 65 years. Even for people who are above 65 years, we expect them to sleep at least 7 hours. But we notice that at that age, a lot of adults tend to sleep even more. In fact, if you see elderly persons, they sleep during the day, they still sleep at night. Okay. However, for people who sleep a lot in early days, probably they've not gotten enough sleep at night. And so they tend to sleep, during the day.
I don't know what she was saying. She was saying that maybe somebody used to sleep in, maybe when they're in 20s and then they get into 30s and it seems like they're having challenges with sleeping.
Sleeping, yeah.
Yes. So if they're having challenges with sleeping, most likely something that has to do with their lifestyle. Some habit that they've acquired over time, or the hormonal changes. There are lots of factors involved, actually. But it's very important that we look at their lifestyle habits. There are certain lifestyle habits that can help to improve their sleep. So if they're able to look inward and check what they are doing. For example, we talked about nighttime browsing, night vigils. Those are habits that people...
For some people, the reality is it's the vigil that keeps them awake. For other people, it is business. It is the reality of a challenging business or challenge at their place of work, and having a lot on their mind keeps them from having... Because the way you defined insomnia is not really about just sleep. It's about the quality of the sleep you're getting. So I would like you to help. Many Nigerians have a lot of challenges right now. The financial, inflation, all of that they're dealing with. And with all of that, how can somebody still have good sleep?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, let's look at initiating sleep. If you want to lie down to sleep and you've not been able to fall asleep within 10 to 15 minutes, it shows that you have a problem with sleep initiation.
Really?
Oh.
Yes. And the reasons why we don't fall asleep on time is a combination of the things that we engage ourselves in before bedtime. Some people think that, I need to be just I need to be active, I need to be doing something, and then I just go and lie down and sleep. But we're actually supposed to wind down before bedtime and prepare ourselves for bed. So if you had a stressful day and you just go and lie on the couch, you can doze for a few minutes on the couch, but by the time you get to your bed, you'll find out that you're not sleeping. You might even have a lot of racing thoughts going through your mind.
Yeah.
So it's very important to dedicate the few hours, 1 to 2 hours before bedtime, to what we call sleep hygiene. You clear up your environment,
Do we have the time?
your internal environment and external environment, so that your body is calm enough. Okay,
Meditation.
so there are so many things. Let's start with your meal.
Okay.
We live in Lagos. Many people are in traffic for long hours. They get home late, and 8 o'clock they're having dinner. 9 o'clock, some people are having dinner. And after that, they just feel, oh, I'm tired, let me go and lie down. Yeah. They're not going to enjoy a good quality sleep.
Told you. It's
Yes.
the food that makes you sleep. You have gone sleep.
So we're talking about quality.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about the fact that you were able to sleep.
Yeah.
But when you wake up, do you feel rested? Do you feel restored?
Pastor.
So there are some people who will sleep that 8 hours, but they will feel up feeling tired, feeling heavy. There are people I've spoken to who change their sleep habits and try to eat at least 3 hours before, and they tell me that, wow, I wake up feeling lighter. I'm able to move, I'm able to go, unlike when I have that apple, before bedtime. So
Give us a step so that people at home can learn from you. Come to UYK. So don't sleep late. Don't eat too late.
Don't eat
What
too
else?
late.
Sleep hygiene.
then aside from that, avoid arguments before bedtime.
Okay.
Avoid going on your phone. The phone has a way of triggering some alerts within the brain. We have the hormone known as sleep hormone known as melatonin. So when you go on your phone, on your devices late at night, especially within 1 to 2 hours of bedtime, it actually sends a message to your brain and shuts down melatonin. And once your melatonin is shut down, then you struggle to sleep, even though you were feeling sleepy before.
Is that what's happening to me?
You know, I was just going to say, on Sunday, I did something that I rarely do. I ate gari and pepper chicken.
What's that combination?
Just before I slept. Do you know what happened to me? When I woke up about 6:40 in the morning. My stomach, I was just, and I didn't feel like going to the loo or anything. I was just uncomfortable. I had a horrible night.
How would you
And
put pepper inside the curry or something?
I promised myself it will never happen again. Do you know that I now slept about 7 till 9? That's short time.
Was it
better
better?
than the one I slept from night? So I really believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because we are not hygienic when we sleep.
So how many hours should we sleep? How many hours should we have a deep sleep?
Deep sleep or sleep?
It's okay, how much sleep?
Sleep.
Let's start with sleep.
Yes, we should have at least 7 hours.
7 hours.
And you don't want to do less than 5 hours because that has been associated with a lot of health risks. So, many times we are aware of the acute implications of not sleeping.
But
I
know that my daddy Gio, for example, boasts of 4 hours of sleep because he's always praying. You see, because you these doctors, what you say contradicts something you hear. We hear from our church, like my own daddy Gio, for example, he says I doesn't sleep more than 4 hours, and this man is healthier than almost all of you.
So does it take naps during the day?
I don't know.
Very good question.
I don't know.
So a lot of people say that. They tell you that if you sleep 8 hours at night, 1/3 of your life is wasted.
Yes, they
sleep
tell
is
us
wasted
that.
time is for the
Motivational
weak.
speakers.
Yes, but we have discovered over time that the same people who tell you that will come down with health issues. It's associated with high blood pressure, a higher risk of heart attacks when you sleep less than 5 hours at night. Even for people who are trying to lose weight, they will find it more difficult if they don't sleep adequately. And then it's also associated with insulin resistance, which is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. And so that's why you find out that with increasing age and, of course, several other factors, people now begin to develop some of these diseases, non-communicable diseases, which we also call lifestyle-related diseases, because they just stem from our lifestyle and the habits that we carry out on a day-to-day basis.
So I'll take you back to giving us practical things that can help us towards sleeping. You said we should start.
Don't eat late.
No,
Sleep hygiene.
Sleep hygiene. So you're winding
winding
down. But the reality is many people are dealing with traffic. They're getting home by 10, 11. And a lot of people are use sleep medications to aid their sleep. You know, those drugs that are like paracetamol with night, and then they go into proper sleep medication. And I know that many people that talk about insomnia say you shouldn't get into that cycle where you are dependent on a sleep
drug
medication to be able to sleep. How do you avoid a sleep medication to sleep and deal with the stress that comes with living in a city?
Yes, so sleep medication, people need to be aware of the fact that it actually increases your risk of dying.
Oh, really?
Yes, of dying, yes. So we have studies that show that every single pill that you take has and adds a risk to you. Of course, it might not happen immediately, but we're talking about over time. So it's best for us to learn to sleep without depending on a pill, because the way God designed this body, we're supposed to sleep naturally, but we are the ones that engage in things that prevent us from sleeping. Of course, if you have an acute sleep problem, it's better to see the physician. Yeah. But let's even deal with the simple things that can help us. So we need to also understand that taking that pill will not necessarily restore your sleep. It will only aid your sleep for that time. So even if we do give sleep medication, it's supposed to be for just a few days until you're able to restore your regime of sleep.
So let's help somebody who has insomnia, who's been diagnosed with insomnia. How do they help? I mean, aside from don't eat late and all that, what can they do to really help them to sleep without using drugs?
Yes, without using drugs. So I've talked about food. We also talk about exercise. Okay. So exercise has been shown to improve sleep quality and duration. So we encourage them to engage in moderate intensity exercise, at least 30 minutes in a day or 5 days of the week. Of course, one would need to build up on that if one had not been exercising before. Then aside from that, we encourage individuals to expose themselves to some level of sunlight first thing in the morning, because that also helps to set your biological clock. Right. That's the circadian rhythm. So if you stay in all day, you're not exposed to sunlight, then there's a tendency for you not to be able to fall asleep at the time you want to. Then also nighttime planning is one of the things people don't realize would help them, would prevent them from sleeping when they need to. Nighttime planning. So you get home, you eat, you do everything, and you now get to your bed and you now start planning for the next day. Okay, I'm to do this, I'm to do that. You even lie down in your bed, you're thinking, okay, I'm supposed to make this call. So we encourage journaling at least 90 minutes before bedtime. You bring out your journal, write down what you've done during the course of the day and what you plan to do the following day. So that relieves the mind of that burden, so that when you lie down, you're more likely to sleep.
You're not calculating anything.
Yes, and you don't have those racing thoughts.
No,
I'd say something.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay, just go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, no, sorry, I've lost
So let me, I had a question, but Bisi, go ahead.
Yeah, so I know that this is science-based, but I've heard people who do feng shui who say that in addition to some of these things you've listed that we can start doing to be able to sleep better, that how you position your room also helps. If your bedroom, for instance, has this very big television, so your subconscious mind is programmed that when you come into the room, you are likely to watch TV, not sleep. You can find a way to redesign your room in such a way that when you get in, your body tells you it's time to shut down. Do you think?
You're very correct.
Also a possibility?
Yes. So it's not only about the devices, about our phones and laptops, even our TVs. So we are encouraged to actually charge all of those outside of the room. So you take out all your devices at least 1 hour before bedtime, and don't keep a TV in your room. Your bed should only be for sleep and sex, nothing else. We don't want you to read in bed, look at your phone in bed, and do several other things that we like doing in bed. Because when you do those things, especially for people who have difficulty sleeping, when you lie in bed for 30 minutes, you've not been able to sleep, we encourage you to get out of bed. Otherwise, your brain will begin to associate your not being able to sleep with the bed.
Subconscious.
And then also the lighting.
I was going to ask the question, because everything that you said, I do everything
Opposite.
bad. So I was going to ask, sometimes when you've just eaten, you know, especially in the afternoon, you start to feel sleepy. Is it good to catch your sleep at that point?
Okay, so there's also a period in the day. Yes, there's a period in the day when some little melatonin is also secreted between the hours of 12 and 2. So you could actually take a nap at that time. And you know what happens when we eat is that we have this dip, you know, we call it the reticular articulating system in the brain. So you just have that dip in your consciousness and you feel drowsy. It's because the food that you're eating is going through a digestive process. So it diverts blood from the brain to the stomach. And so your body now becomes less aware and you just want to doze. So yes, you could take a nap, but it should be a power nap. Don't sleep for more than 20 to 30 minutes in the afternoon, because if you do, you are going to push back your biological clock.
At night, it affects
Yes,
the quality
and
of
to
sleep
affect the
and
quality of
at night.
sleep, even the duration of sleep.
So I've heard
at
about
night.
exercising during the night and exercising during the day, or like exercising close to bedtime, that which would disrupt the sleeping cycle and which one would work for it?
Yes, so studies show that exercising at least 4 hours before is best. If you're exercising too close to bedtime, then it could keep you mentally alert because of all the hormones that are going to come out. But I've engaged a few people who discover that when they exercise very close to bedtime, it helps them to fall asleep. So, you know,
Study your body.
yeah, study your body and see what works for you.
We have a message here who says, Efosa Dominic says, according to the world fact, the human body was designed to sleep 4 hours of 12 hours in a day and 4 hours of 12 hours at night instead of the straight 8 hours of 24 hours.
Keep getting all this data.
What do you think about this?
Yeah. Today they say 8 hours, tomorrow they say 6 hours, tomorrow they say 4 hours.
Some researchers.
So it depends on where you're getting your information from.
Yeah.
We have the World Health Organization, we have the National Sleep Foundation that's in the US. So we try to stick to those guidelines that come from, yes, so that's why I mentioned 7 to 8 hours from the World Health Organization. The US National Sleep Foundation says 7 to 9 hours. Well, of course, it depends on the age. If anyone is less than 18, you're going to need more hours. For example, teenagers are going to need up to at least 9 hours. But we get them out of bed so quickly, you know, because they have to get to school on time.
What will I do about my grandson? He doesn't sleep. He hates sleep. He says sleep is boring. So he will stay up for as late. Even if you leave him in the room by himself, he will not sleep. He will just stay up talking to himself.
How old is he?
He's 5.
Wow.
Sleep is boring.
He needs to sleep.
He needs to sleep. And I know he needs to sleep. What do we do in that kind of situation?
Does he sleep during the day?
No. His sister sleeps during the day. His sister is totally different. That one, when it's 8 o'clock like this, she will even be dragging her mommy. It's time for sleep. But he, it's fights.
Maybe
That's quite unusual because children at that age, even when they don't sleep at night, you find them wanting to sleep toward evening. And then they wake up and don't sleep at night. So I think the best thing is just to still challenge them
eventually
to have
before we get to that.
healthy
And
sleep.
also,
Let's talk about this deep sleep thing, because there's always this, you hear, what's the difference between deep sleep and regular sleep? And what time should you have a deep sleep? Or how do you get to achieve deep sleep? Or is it even necessary?
Yes, it's quite necessary. We have different stages of sleep. So we move from there are 3 main stages. So we move from one to the other over the course of the night. So the initial stage is when it just takes you about 10 to 15 minutes to get into that initial stage. You're still it's still a very light stage of sleep. And then the part of your sleep that is actually deep can last up to 1 to 2 hours. But for the total course of the night, because it's a cycle, you go from the first stage to the second to the third stage, and then you go back again. So by the time you add up everything, you should have at least 4 hours in all. But if you wake up, you have interruptions in your sleep, it's going to interrupt your deep sleep, and you might not get enough of it.
Because you wake up to go and pee.
I wake up to pee.
And once I do that, I can't get back to sleep.
Immediately.
I just pick up my phone and start doing things.
So what I learned, I don't drink, when I don't drink a lot of water before bedtime, it helps me not to pee as much. Then there are some teas that I'm always drinking, Orishi Agbo. So I realized there's a particular teas I drink that makes me pee more during the night. I don't drink it in the evening anymore. So it reduces me having to wake up at night.
Yeah.
Whether I
Even
drink or I don't drink, I
things
must
like
wake up.
caffeine,
Even if it is
caffeinated
once.
beverages,
Yeah.
Coke.
But you know,
I don't even
politicians,
Cola nuts.
motivational speakers
Yes.
tell you that there's something called alpha brain. Your alpha brain.
Yeah.
You have to know your alpha brain works, which is some people at night My own, I think, is at night. So once I wake up like this, I'm in my head, I'm in my alpha brain. I start remembering
Or
everything.
how you are wired. So they say some people are nocturnal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, some people are early morning.
Some people are owls.
Yes.
Night owls,
Yes.
and then morning larks.
Yeah. So no matter how long you wake me in the morning, over a space of time, any day I know that I'm not waking, I don't need to wake up in the morning. I can sleep till noon. I'm naturally a night person, so my day starts from 12 noon, right?
Yes.
How do you advise people like that? Or is it even
find balance.
possible that that's also an angle that you can design your sleep according to how your body is naturally wired?
Yes, you can actually design your sleep to how your body is naturally wired, but it also depends on the demands on you, the demands of your job, the demands of education, your children. So except you have all the allowance and you have people doing things for you, you might not really be able to do that. But you could take time off maybe on a weekend to check, when would I like to fall asleep and wake up without anybody waking me up, without my alarm clock waking me up. That will actually tell you whether you are a nighttime person or a morning person.
I wake up 12 noon.
You wake up 12 noon,
Yes.
and you're still able to accomplish every other thing.
I'm in my
that you-
fire mode.
All right, so that works for you.
Listen to your body, Sha.
No comments on social media. We have to wrap up, but thank you so much, ma'am. It's always a pleasure to have you
We are too busy
on our
trying
show
to know
today.
about sleep.
For ourselves.
Thank you. All right,
It's a
that's all we
pleasure.
can
Thank
take
you.
on today's show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.